You can huff and puff and blow a house down. You can use your YouTube studio, make animations and all the edits you want. But the facts remain the facts. What is a gas? By the Globe pundit Robert Sheldon. A gas is a substance that is in a gaseous or vaporous state of matter. The term gas is also used in reference to the state itself when applied to matter that has the properties of a gaseous substance. Gas is one of the four natural states of matter, which must be physical to be matter, along with liquid, solid, and plasma. Now, this is going to irritate you because I'm going to prove how we cannot have fixed curving gaseous atmospheres around the Earth that in its entirety is within an infinite and expanding vacuum universe billions of light years wide. A gas has no fixed shape or volume. Let's hear that again. Go ahead, read it to yourself. A gas has no fixed shape or volume. The only way you can get gas to maintain a fixed curving shape is in a container that is physical, like a balloon. Otherwise, gas, right down here, is in a what? A constant state of motion. A gas has no fixed shape or volume. The atoms or molecules that make up the gas fill the container that holds them. The gas expands until it is uniformly distributed throughout the what? The container. What's this? Even in the presence of gravity. That is right. Gas expands in all directions at high velocity in complete and full defiance of your precious, stupid, evasive, elusive gravity. If not contained to a container, the gas disperses into space. And again, space, an area where you place matter. Like a drawer, you make space to put clothing. Now this right here, I need go no further, debunks your model. They tell us that gravity is stronger at sea level, but what do we see gas doing at sea level? Blowing, flowing, traveling, expanding, dispersing in all directions, blowing leaves, trees, branches, flowers, and flags on flagpoles in all directions, don't we? So if gravity is stronger at sea level, and it can't stop gas from expanding in all directions, what would happen where gravity is weaker at altitude? Yes, they do tell us that gravity weakens with altitude. So how is it going to get gas to maintain a fixed curving shape in your atmospheres when gas travels in all directions at sea level where they say gravity is stronger? Let's review this. A gas has no fixed shape or volume. The atoms or molecules that make up the gas fill the container that holds them. The gas expands until it is uniformly distributed throughout the container, even in the presence of gravity, which they must insert, that is their God. Gravity is their God, Newton its prophet, and NASA its disciples. Now, I should say Einstein because gravity by Newton was discarded. They don't follow Newton's laws of anything. It's Einstein and his fourth dimensional conceptual fabric of space and time, which I debunked. Time is not a thing. It has no physical matter of itself. It is a concept. We live in a constant present. We invented time to synchronize from one moment to the next moment in the constant present. There is no such thing as yesterday or tomorrow. They're just words. We use the word yesterday to remember previous acts we've accomplished. And we use the word tomorrow to plan for acts we wish to accomplish. We live in a constant present. The constant present does not acknowledge or entertain the appearance or departure of the sun. It does not acknowledge when you go to sleep or when you're awake. Awake, asleep, sunrise, sunset, it is always the constant present. It is a concept. Time. The hands on a clock are not governed by time. They are governed by batteries or electricity that powers them. They run at pre-programmed increments designed by man. 60 seconds is a minute, 60 minutes is an hour. That is derived by humanity. Now stop being a moron. A gas has no fixed shape or volume. So you tell me, what the heck is this? Do you see this nonsense they must show you with an artist rendering? A composite or this drawed nonsense? They got the Earth surrounded by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 curving atmospheres. Down on sea level, they tell us gravity is stronger. And we see, or gas is stronger, gravity is stronger, pardon me. They tell us that gravity has more influence. It is stronger at sea level, and that it weakens with altitude. So how do we see gas going in all directions with no fixed shape at sea level where gravity is stronger? It's because what they tell us is not true. It is a false narrative. They got all this gas surrounded by an infinite and expanding vacuum universe. The black depicts their vacuum, the white dots are stars, and this is complete nonsense that cannot be demonstrated. If they want to demonstrate gas pressure, they need a chamber, tank, or can. You want a very good rebuttal? Show us gas pressure without a tank, chamber, or can. Then you'll have something. We know that the Earth is a pressurized system. And we know the only way per physical law to achieve gas pressure is with a physical container. So it is not that hard to figure out how we got gas pressure when you're being intellectually honest. Not your Dunning-Kruger cognitive dissonance nonsense you've been taught all your life that you don't seem to be able to break away from, to face reality. Now this would be impossible. Why? Because we know what gas does in the presence of a vacuum. It fills it. So how is there precious gravity pulling the gas down? So it's curving around the Earth when it can't do that at sea level where it's stronger. We see gas blowing in all directions at high velocity. Go review Boyle's and Avogadro's gas law. That will teach you that you need a physical container for gas pressure. Don't come making videos with tanks, chambers, or cans and then claiming we don't need a tank, chamber, or can for gas pressure when you got to use one to show gas pressure. That is illogical. So go ahead, huff, puff, and blow a house down, but you do nothing to physical law. This here is the truth. Let's see if you can equate it with reality. A gas is a substance that is in a gaseous or vaporous state of matter. The term gas is also used in reference to the state itself when applied to matter that has the properties of a gaseous substance. And gas is one of the four natural states of matter. Matter must be physical to be matter, along with liquid, solid, and plasma. Gas has no fixed shape or volume. The only way you can get gas to maintain a fixed shape is in a curving container like a balloon. Don't you understand why gas doesn't have a fixed shape or volume? Because it's in a constant state of motion. The only way to stop that motion is to confine it in a container. The gas molecules are stopped by the walls of the container. That's how we get gas pressure. So now you know that there must be some physical container around the Earth to confine the Earth's gases that are all produced at sea level by humans, animals, plants, trees, oceans, and other gas that seeps out of the Earth. Gas did not come to the Earth from a vacuum. They tell us some gas came out of volcanoes way a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. That's all nonsense. Now, I wouldn't be against the fact that some gas probably does emit from volcanoes when they erupt, but we know for a fact that gas is produced at sea level by humans, trees, oceans, lakes, and the gas that escapes from the earth that seeps out. And it is in a constant state of motion, and it does all this. Where's my pointer? Even in the presence of gravity. So gravity can't stop gas from going in all directions. How does it do it where it's weaker at altitude? Or don't you know your model? Your model teaches us that gravity is stronger at sea level. That's the ground, in case you didn't know what sea level was. They teach us that gravity is stronger at sea level. So how can gas travel, flow, blow, expand, and disperse in all directions in a constant state of motion? How is that? When they show us curving atmospheres 250 miles high or 66 miles at the Kármán line, from 60 to 250 miles, gas stops? How does it get up there? If it's being pulled down at 14.7 psi, the weight of an automobile that incidentally we don't feel because our little 5'10" bodies are exerting pressure that is equal to the weight of an automobile that cancels out the weight of an automobile? That is ridiculous. People, wake up. Learn the truth. It's right here. Google, how do we get gas pressure? What is gas pressure? They'll tell you. It's right here. I'll leave the link in the comment section. But you cannot refute this. You cannot show gas pressure unless you use a tank, can, bottle, or chamber. You people, yes, you are furious. All you have is profanity. I got a couple detractors out there. One acts like he's my friend sometimes, then goes to the other channel, and I catch him in all states of ignorance. And I don't allow, I will not tolerate that. So yes, you have strike two, individual. You know who you are. And the other guy, he's a complete scumbag. All he has is profanity. He's an atheist. He believes that nothing from nowhere exploded at no time and no place. And the God of gravity assembled every star, planet, moon, the sun, meteor, asteroid, nebula, black hole, and all the other garbage they show you in artist renderings. Nothing from nowhere at no time and no place. A singularity, an infinitesimal point with infinite density. He is so dumb that he cannot even realize that that cancels the other out. An infinitesimal point with infinite density? If you continue to believe that, your IQ is below 80. Nothing and nowhere cannot exist because they are nothing and nowhere. That cannot physically exist. This is the problem when your IQ is well over 100. I'm not trying to brag, it's a fact. And yes, I was valedictorian of my graduating class. That is a fact, and the Lord, who liveth forever and ever, is my witness. So all these people got for rebuttal is profanity and accusation and ridicule. They love to try to ostracize people. You want to do something, you want to do something of merit for your model, show us gas pressure without a tank, chamber, can, or bottle. You can't do it because the physical walls of a container are required. Let that sink in. We know there's gas pressure on the earth. And we know the only way to physically demonstrate such is with a physical container. So your model is debunked. We also know that gas, oxygen, immediately fills vacuums, and there's only one way to stop it: to separate that gas from the vacuum with a physical container. And they loved it to say vacuums don't suck. Well, what's this then? Suction. Let's hear that again. Suction. The production of a vacuum. How? How do you produce a vacuum? By the removal of air. To what? In order to force fluid or matter into a vacant space. Why do I say matter? Well, take a look. It's on the screen. Physicians use a tube to suction out the gallstones. They suctioned out the gallstones into a vacant space. Suction, the production of a vacuum. They say partial because you can't get all the air out of a vacuum. There's no perfect vacuum. Blah. The production of a vacuum by the removal of air in order to force fluid or matter into a vacant space. The vacant space is the vacuum. Now, try doing a video on this without all your vulgarity and profanity. You can't do it. You'd have no content. You cannot refute this. It's right there. Suction, Oxford language. The production of a vacuum. How do you do a vacuum? Remove the air. To what? Force fluid or matter into the vacant space. Or procure adhesion, like with a suction cup. They don't mention outside pressure. Well, where's outside pressure in this definition? No, it has nothing to do with it. That's why they don't include it. And they don't expect you to equate this with reality. These are the facts, just like the gas law facts I just shown you. They don't expect you to equate it with reality. But the flat spread out earth phenomenon is causing many millions and billions of people to face reality. Now, why can't you? What is so hard? Why do you have to huff and puff and try to blow a house down with your garbled blather, no sense material? What is your problem? Now you can use your YouTube studio and your editing, but it's not going to refute the facts. It might look good, but it's not going to refute the facts. So you can use your profanity all you want. You'd never, ever speak that way in my presence. That is a fact, as the Lord liveth. You would not. And if you did, it wouldn't be for very long, because you'd have to defend your personage from me. You'd get one warning. If you violate it again, then action. It would be time for some action. Now, vacuums suck. They create and produce suction, like I showed you with the bladder wart and with suction cups. 14.7 psi pushing down on the suction cup, but not the strands of toilet paper. Isn't that curious? It is. It's nonsense. Time to face reality. Boy, B-O-I, that's what you are. Boy.